Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Jedd Fisch, the Washington Huskies, doing a phenomenal job building a very strong class in 2025. Monday afternoon, it gets a heck of a lot better. Four-star linebacker Zaydrius Rainey-Sale committing to this Washington program. Now, Zaydrius Rainey-Sale, a guy that I've been banging the table for over the last couple of months, one of my favorite linebackers in this 2025 class, but I want to first focus on what Jedd Fisch is doing on the recruiting trail. And I think it goes back to the conversations that we had with this Washington program back when Jedd Fisch took over this team. And this is a program that I think checks a ton of boxes in terms of what they can be on the recruiting trail. And Kalen DeBoer, even though having a ton of on-field success, never really seemed to maximize what Washington could be as a program on the recruiting trail. The thing that we were banging the table for is, can Jedd Fisch maximize this team in terms of talent acquisition? I think a lot of college football fans who have followed this sport for a very long time, you kind of know that sustaining on-field success, it starts with talent acquisition. And although Kalen DeBoer had, again, a ton of success on the field the last couple of years with this Washington program, he never got it going on the recruiting trail. And you're bringing Jedd Fisch, kind of hoping that he can maximize this program, and we are quickly getting our answer in terms of what this Huskies program is going to look like on the recruiting trail under Jedd Fisch. That answer is it's going to take a step in the right direction. Zaydrius Rainey-Sale, a guy that you go head-to-head with a program in Florida State that there's not many programs hotter on the recruiting trail than Florida State. You win out for the number one player in the state of Washington. Massive news for this Huskies program. Fired up to get into the film of Zaydrius Rainey-Sale. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and to the Washington fans. It's been an absolute blast covering this program, talking about this program with you guys in the comment section since Jedd Fisch has taken over, whether it's transfer portal additions, whether it's on the high school recruiting trail. There's been a ton to talk about. I can't thank you guys enough for rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Zaydrius Rainey-Sale. And this is a linebacker that, at least in my mind, I see as kind of a defensive chess piece in the front seven. And you look at the qualities that you have to play linebacker in this modern era of college football. You have to be able to operate in space. I mean, gone are the days where linebackers are just playing inside the tackle box, taking on blocks and doing run fits. You look at linebackers and what they're asked to do in this modern game. You have to go sideline to sideline. You got to go tackle running backs in the flat, carry tight ends up the seam. You got to be able to operate in space. Zaydrius Rainey-Sale is one of those guys. The closing speed that he has, it is kind of next level. And I think that one thing that I, at least watching the film, makes me really intrigued with this cat is what he can do rushing the passer as well. If you're a defense, you want to give a lot of different looks, especially with Coach Belichick coming in. You look at this Washington defense and say, we want to give a lot of different looks, disguise what we're trying to do. You have a guy in Zaydrius Rainey-Sale who can do so many different things. He allows you as a defense to be a little bit creative in terms of the packages and looks that you're going to give. He can be a guy that plays the off-ball linebacker spot, operates in space, but you can also walk him on the line of scrimmage, have him rush the passer off the edge, and he can give you a ton of juice rushing the passer as well. You get into the film and just say so many different ways that he can impact the game. One, coming off the edge, there's just not many guys that have the juice that he does in terms of running that arc. And you see right here, we're going to start him out as kind of that overhang linebacker. We're going to walk him on late into this process, send him off the edge. And again, the offensive line doesn't pick it up because it's disguised nicely, and you have that ability because Zaydrius Rainey-Sale is a guy that you can ask to drop back into some of those shallow zones, but you can also rush the passer. Having a guy that's that versatile gets you really effective schemes in terms of how you want to bring pressure on the quarterback, obviously running the arc, the closing speed. When you go back to the closing speed here, it's next level for this kid. At 220 pounds, I mean, you talk about hawking down opposing quarterbacks, which is becoming increasingly important at the college level. You look at all these quarterbacks, they are very good at breaking the pocket, extending plays. You got to have defenders that can go make plays in space, hawk down quarterbacks. Rainey-Sale can do that. Again, coming off the edge here, this time we're going to get active in the run game. He's just a front seven defender that you can get really creative in. One of my favorite reps right here, Rainey-Sale working as a tight end. This just gives you a feel of the athleticism that he has. Now, make no mistake about it, he's going to be a front seven defender for Washington, but really, really clean routes, gets the football in his hands, operates really smoothly. Again, this is a special caliber athlete that can give you a lot of versatility on the defensive side of the football. And two things that I want to note. One, you look at Washington in the 2025 cycle, it's going to be a top 20 class in the country once they factor in Zaydrius Rainey-Sale's commitment to Washington. You go back to Kalen DeBoer, all the success that he had on the field, his highest recruiting ranking was 29th in the country. Jedd Fisch might finish with a top 20 class in the country, having not even coached a snap within this Washington program. That tells you just a little bit about the potential that Jedd Fisch has recruiting with this Washington Huskies program. I think more importantly, something that Kalen DeBoer really struggled with was recruiting the state of Washington. You take a look at Washington right here. You got two of the top three kids in the state of Washington committed to the Huskies. You make no mistake about it, with Jedd Fisch running this program, if you're a top kid in the state of Washington, you're playing your college football for this Huskies program. That's has to be, I mean, if you look at the recipe for Washington kind of maintaining their success on the field, it starts with cleaning up your backyard, hitting your layups. This is what it looks like to hit your layups on the recruiting trail. Another massive win for Jedd Fisch. For at least Washington Husky fans, I think you should be fired up about what the potential is with this program under Jedd Fisch in terms of having sustained success. Yeah, you want those flashes, those flash seasons that you had in 2023, but if you want to consistently compete for Big Ten titles, compete for college football playoff appearances, you have to get it done on the recruiting trail. Jedd Fisch certainly doing that. We all know Jedd Fisch can coach. He just won 10 games with an Arizona program that it's hard to win over 4 games. He won 10. We know he can develop players. We know he can scheme up on offense. Now it starts with talent acquisition. Jedd Fisch doing that for this Washington program. A lot to be excited about. We'll cut it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys.